say happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, especially my mom. Everything you've done for me growing up, your heart, and I think you just instilled that in me. Especially want to say happy Mother's Day to my wife, Carly. It's been fun to see you adapt to motherhood and being a stay-at-home mom. So I just want to say thank you and love you guys.
Hey, Ma, I love you so much and I miss you. I'm wishing you a happy Mother's Day from far away. I just want to let you know that I love you and we thank you for all you do for me and my siblings. It never goes unnoticed or underappreciated, and I would never be in this position if it wasn't for you. I thank you so much. I love you and I'll see you soon.
Hola, Ma. Happy Mother's Day. I want to take this chance to thank you for supporting me in everything that I do. And I just want to say te amo and I love you.
Happy Mother's Day. It's your all's special day. I know we're away from home. We miss you all just like you all miss us. Go Wranglers.
What's going on? Mom, Grandma, Aunt Vicky, Erica, Jay, anyone else that I'm missing. I hope that you don't take it wrong, but I want to wish y'all a happy Mother's Day. Nothing but love. We play tomorrow, so I'm playing for y'all.
I want to give a very special happy Mother's Day to Miss Stacy Randolph. Mom, I love you. Just want to give you a happy Mother's Day since I couldn't get you a card. And a very special shout out to my stepmom, Shannon Randolph, as well. I love you too. I thank you guys so much. And to all the moms around the world, Wrangler Nation says happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mama. Long way from Mississippi, but you know I still love you.
Hey, Mom. Hey, all the moms all over the world. Just want to say happy Mother's Day to my mom, Tina. I got some plays for you. Happy Mother's Day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are looking live at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers tuning in today. Happy Mother's Day to my mom there just outside of Dallas, Texas, and Crandall, Texas. Happy Mother's Day to, as Ed said last Mother's Day, everyone acting as a mother, whether you're filling in for someone or just being a mother to anyone who might need that love today. Ed, happy Mother's Day, right?
Absolutely. Happy Mother's Day to my mother back home in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day, of course, to my bride, Adrienne, who's a few rooms away from me here in the house. Happy Mother's Day to her, and happy Mother's Day to my mother-in-law, Lena. Love you, Lena. Again, as you mentioned, all the mothers in this world that are mothers, and as you said, acting like mothers in such a important role in everybody's lives as a mother or a stand-in mother. Happy Mother's Day. We love all of you. God bless you and enjoy this special day, which is yours.
Absolutely. And happy Mother's Day as well to my wife, Tara. I couldn't do these types of things without her love and support. And she is the best mother I could ask for as a father.
Amen.
So thank you so much for what you do for me and our family. And we got some great football on tap today, Ed. It's going to be the Wranglers at the Vegas Knights, and it's going to be a tough battle there in Vegas. We're going to be checking in very shortly with Mr. Tucker Welch, communications director for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. He's going to check in with us here in just a few minutes. But we got a good one on tap today with these Wranglers. It's going to be a fun battle this afternoon inside the Dollar Loan Center.
Oh, it is, JP. It's the end of the road trip, the third game of the three-game road trip. So the Wranglers would love to wrap it up with a win in Henderson, Nevada. And it's a very important game, James, especially after what happened last night in Tucson with the Arizona Rattlers falling to the Tucson Sugar Skulls. So now if the Wranglers win, they're they'll be a game behind the Rattlers for first place in the Western Division.
The Goliath of the IFL has fallen, Ed. The Arizona Rattlers fell to one of their in-state rivals. The broadcasters last night on the call, Pat Paris talking about hard to form a rivalry when the other team wins all the games, but finally Tucson able to get one over on those on those Arizona Rattlers. And all it does is just intensify the rivalries here in the state of Arizona with some really quality indoor football league play.
It really does, because now the Wranglers, of course, have to keep pace with the Sugar Skulls because they're now 4-3. They're nipping on the heels of the Wranglers. So a victory today in Henderson, Nevada over a Vegas Nighthawks team who is coming off the biggest game of the season. They had a win last week in Worcester. They knocked off the defending champions 46-44, knocked off the Massachusetts Pirates. So, James, when they take the field today at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, they are absolutely, they're revved up, they're pumped up because they know they beat the champs last week, and they know they have a huge game today against the Wranglers. If they want any shot of moving up in the West, out in the West, they have to beat the Wranglers today. And of course, the Wranglers again have to beat the Nighthawks to keep them at bay, and of course get some more distance between them and the Sugar Skulls, and for them to get closer to the Rattlers.
The Wranglers are poised to keep climbing their way up that IFL poll chart and make their way up possibly to the second position if they can continue their winning ways. Let's take a look back at some action from last week out there at the Bay Area Panthers. Some plays made all over the football field, and the Wranglers with a solid victory in offense, defense, and special teams up there in San Jose.
Absolutely, James. They took care of business, went out there and won that game by 31, 65-34, went out there and took care of business in San Jose, as you mentioned, at the SAP Center. Just everything was clicking. Offense, defense, special teams. What can you say about Fish? Brandon Fisher hit all 9 of his extra points. To have a young man like that is reliable in the special teams situation. We know how important special teams are in this indoor football league game. So for him to be solid, for Coach Moss to not worry about that level of the play, that third of the football team, and then defense, the number 2 defense in the indoor football league, and the rise of this offense, James, as Caleb Barker continues to grow and get better and get the football to all of his weapons. Seems like he's got an infinite supply of weapons to get the ball to, JP.
He does. The offense is abounding for this Northern Arizona Wranglers football team. We think back to the first game there at the Dollar Loan Center against those same Vegas Nighthawks who we face today now for the 3rd time this season. The Wranglers looking to go to 2-1 in that series here in the 2022 campaign. But the offense is just completely different, and the playmakers all over the field. But let's give it up once again to those offensive linemen up front, Zach Poe, among other guys up front, just getting it done for this Wranglers football team.
Of course, as we mentioned so many times on our broadcasts, whether it's this show, whether it's the Wranglers Roundup Coaches Show, which we will have tomorrow up in Prescott Valley, up at Prescott Valley, we'll have that over in our favorite location up there, the Colt Grill. We'll be ready for that. We talk about how important the offensive line and the defensive lines are for this football team, and they are in full force, James. You see how they can score 65 points because, again, Caleb Barker has all the time in the world because his offensive line gives him time to get the ball to his running backs and wide receivers, and then the defense just puts pressure on the opposition's quarterbacks, and then they make it hard for them to score, which is why they have the number 1 defense in the indoor football league, primarily because of the pressure you get from the defensive line and the way that linebacker and that defensive secondary plays, as we saw Mercado Anderson with that interception, the way the secondary plays so aggressive, that's why they're the top team in the top defense in the league.
Well, that secondary, Ed, for the Wranglers, able to play aggressively because those defensive linemen get things done up front, and they allow those defensive backs to roam the field, make plays out there in space, and cover all the areas of the field and make it tough for opposing quarterbacks to have anywhere to throw the football. Let's now check in with Tucker Welch. He is live there at the Dollar Loan Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. As you see, he's checking in with Coach Moran right fast. So we'll give those guys a second to take care of business there. But this is going to be an exciting game this afternoon, Ed.
Oh, absolutely. Again, it's a major game. You probably want to mute Tuck so we don't hear any. There we go. Let him and Coach Moran talk. But yeah, this is a huge game, James. Let them talk strategy. We want to keep that under wraps, right? That's exactly what
we don't. In case they're covering any last minute plays or maybe here's your copy of the first 15. We obviously don't give out that information here.
Oh no, we don't give that out. But yes, the Nighthawks, again, coming off that win over the champs last week, they are revitalized. They are re-energized, James, because they lost 3 games in a row coming into that game. So for them to get on that bird, come home victorious, and they're 3-4, they know they're now in position. They're in good prime position. If they knock off the Wranglers today, they'll be 4-4. They'll be that much closer to the Sugar Skulls, who are number 3 out in the West. So it's a big game for both football teams. Again, for the Wranglers, if they win, they go to 5-2, and they get that much closer to the Arizona Rattlers at the top of the West.
We will step aside here and take a very brief timeout here on the Wranglers pregame show. And when we return, we'll check in with Mr. Tucker Welch back there at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Stay with us. More pregame action coming your way leading up to kickoff at 1:05 p.m. local time. Ben Wilson will have the call for the Vegas Nighthawks on the Indoor Football League YouTube channel. Stay with us. We're right back for more pregame right after this.
There's a little piece of magic in the heart of the Verde Valley. where adventure is encouraged. Whether you're whining and dining, rocking and rolling, or pushing and pulling, it's your adventure. Play however you choose.
We welcome you back to the Northern Arizona Wranglers pregame show. We're pleased now to be joined by Mr. Tucker Welch inside the Dollar Loan Center there in Henderson, Nevada. Tucker, tell us a little bit about the trip up last night. You guys were at the M Resort last evening. What's the mood of the team this morning as you guys had breakfast and got ready for this matinee battle here with these Vegas Nighthawks?
Team is ready to go. It's a little bit of a different routine or feel, playing in the afternoon versus having a night game. But the guys are ready to go. They just had to push their routine a little bit earlier throughout the day. There's been some, friendly banter going on between the two teams in pregame warm-up. So both teams are amped up and ready to go.
Yeah, Tuck, they know, both of these teams know how pivotal and important this football game is. And for the Wranglers, they know it's a business trip. It's a trip to go to Nevada. Yes, there's so many sights to see and so many great things to do, but they know they need to take care of business there at the Dollar Loan Center as we see the guys behind you, getting ready for the game.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking based on the performance we saw from Evans last week in his first start with the Nighthawks, and then the Wranglers putting up a franchise-high 65 total points, I think Caleb Barker is going to come out firing, and so is Evans with the Nighthawks.
And you know what they say, boys, the good old saying is that defense travels really well, and that's exactly what you want when you're on the road against a football team like this. And let's face it, guys, the Vegas Nighthawks know how to score points.
Yep, they do.
Yes.
They do. It's
Yes.
going to be an exciting matchup for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, Tucker, considering those are two of the top 4 defenses in the league. Of course, the Wranglers are number 1 and Vegas is the number 4 defense. So it will be interesting to see if that actually does play to form, if the defenses do step up today, or as you mentioned, if the Wranglers go off and score 65 or 70 more points. And it's one of those shootouts like we had just a few weeks ago in Tucson.
Absolutely. That's why I think it's such a great matchup. We got one of the top offenses and one of the top defenses squaring off. So,
Tucker, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate your time, and we'll let you get back to work here. We're about 8 minutes away from kickoff. Go Wranglers, and cheer those guys on for us, if you will, and we'll check in with you a little bit later on this afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Appreciate it. That was Tucker Welch right there from the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and he is the Director of Communications. Ed, as we wrap things up here, we're about 3 minutes away from the top of the hour, 8 minutes away overall from kickoff. Any final thoughts, and what are your keys to the game this afternoon for our Northern Arizona Wranglers?
The keys to victory for me today: start off strong, start off fast like they did last week at the SAP Center. Start off strong with your offense, your defense, and set the tone. Let Vegas know that we're dictating the way this football game goes, not the way you do it. Not because you're at home. You don't get to tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. And of course, it always comes down to converting on third downs, James. Limiting the penalties. Do not give Vegas that many more chances that you blew because you shot yourself in your own foot. Play smart, sound football and just protect the football and let the chips fall where they may. Everything will fall into place if all those things come to form today.
You mentioned the penalties, Ed. Penalties are so much more costly in this indoor football league game. You've only got 50 yards total to work with. You give up a personal foul penalty, 15 yards, you just given the other team a third of the football field.
Yes, James, for you, what are your keys?
My keys to the game are for this Wranglers offensive line to keep playing strong, keep providing plenty of time for Caleb Barker to find the open receiver and make that good decision. The back end on defense has to continue to play well. You like to see guys like Ricardo Anderson continue to ball hawk back there and use that time provided by that outstanding defensive line play to sit back there and pick the offense apart and find the weaknesses in there and then be able to just really stare down that quarterback and let him know, hey, I'm here all afternoon. Another big key to the game is going to be the special teams. They've got to continue to play well. Brandon Fisher, we've talked about him all season long. He is a critical cog today against this Vegas Nighthawks team, and we just want to see him continue to do his thing for this Wranglers club.
Of course, we've seen how special teams have played into so many games this season and how important it is to have solid special teams. So if this game does get tight, James, and it very well could be, because these two teams know how important and how critical this game is for each of these teams' fortunes as far as the playoffs are concerned. So it may come down to special teams. It may come down to a Brandon Fisher kick to win the game, or some field goals and extra points that give them that kind of distance between the Nighthawks.
It very well could. It's going to be a great matchup this afternoon at the Dollar Loan Center. Once again, we encourage you to make your way over to the Indoor Football League YouTube channel, where Mr. Ben Wilson will have the call for the Vegas Nighthawks on the Indoor Football League YouTube channel. And make sure and come right back here to the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel following tonight's game, and we will have post-game action for you. We'll recap and then look ahead to next week's home matchup against those victorious Tucson Sugar Skulls from last night, Ed. That's going to be a great game next Saturday night up there at the Finley Toyota Center.
It should be, but the fellas need to take care of business in Henderson. Then we can focus on the Vegas Nighthawks once we talk to Coach Moss and the players tomorrow night at the Colt Grill. You like that plug I got there, the Colt Grill?
I like that segue. That is a veteran move right there, my man. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m., we'll be at the Colt Grill in beautiful Prescott Valley, Arizona for the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. Until then, cheer on our guys. They need it up there in Henderson, Nevada this afternoon, and we will check in with you again following this afternoon's game up in Vegas. Stay with us. Come back here after tonight's game, and we'll be here for the post game. Until then, go Wranglers and have a great Mother's Day.
Go Wranglers. Happy Mother's Day, ladies.